In chapter 3 of Mark's Gospel, Jesus tells a very descriptive parable of the nature of his dealings with Satan. Mark 3, verse 27 is our verse for today. And in it, Jesus says, "No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house." This is a great description of what Jesus went about doing in one town after the other, in the countryside, on the streets, inside people's homes. Jesus bound Satan and took his possessions away. He took the people that Satan was holding on to, and he made them well in mind and in body. And Jesus made them his own forever. Now the devil had some pretty valuable possessions, including those in the highest places of authority in the Jewish religion. Jesus was quite aggressive towards these people, and he exposed their ties to Satan, telling them publicly in John chapter 8, "You seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you. You are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth." Believing in Jesus could be a difficult prospect for those on the receiving end of such strong words. But people in such extreme sin needed some extreme preaching. Those people did succeed in killing Jesus. But when Jesus rose from the dead, there was some pretty impressive spoiling of Satan's house yet to come. You see, Jesus had a plan. His death and resurrection was the ultimate sign, proof of who he said he was, and he made sure that there were hundreds of witnesses to this decisive event. When those witnesses went out, filled with God's own Holy Spirit, Satan found himself in a bit of a bind. The testimony of these witnesses convicted the very people who had called for Jesus' death, and they repented by the thousands. Acts chapter 6 tells that even, quote, "a great number of the priests were converted." Imagine that. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's Jesus, and he's here to loot your house. It got to the point where the disciples were using the temple itself as a meeting place. What an impressive victory. The struggle wasn't over. Many people remained bound in disbelief and even enmity toward Jesus. But Jesus wasn't done looting Satan's house either. When a great persecutor of the early church arose from the ranks of the Pharisees, knock, knock, who's there? It's Jesus again. Jesus took that persecutor and he converted him. That man, Paul, was forever grateful for what Jesus did for him, and he spent the rest of his life leading others into salvation. So that's our verse for today, Mark chapter 3, verse 27. It presents us with a powerful solution to the world's problems. That power with which Jesus bound Satan is now in you, the believer. Use that power, and don't be sparing. There is, of course, a prophetic element to the parable of binding the strong man. It is something that continues to be fulfilled today. And the time is coming when Satan will be forever imprisoned, and Jesus will take everything. We look forward to that time, but there are so many who could be helped right now. The gospel is a story of the mission of Jesus on earth. It is good news from its start and into eternity. It is active in the world right now, and it will spread and grow and create and save forever. It's a very good story. Thank you for being with us. I hope that you'll join us again for another verse for today.